What's up? Oh, okay. I won't be censored. I won't be silenced.
Not silenced. Can you scooch? Thank you.
How the heck and damn.
Sure is heckin' good.
Right. No.
Phones on vibe.
Please silence.
Remember that checklist I worked on? Yeah.
Phones in I
What is
already know that I
worth
would be.
getting at AMC? Okay, fair.
Chelsea,
Celtics are nice.
yeah, Chelsea gets the mozzarella sticks
Yeah.
pretty regularly. Living.
Why is it dead?
Why is it deading? Are you gonna work on something or are you just gonna sit there?
I'm just gonna sit here. Well, it depends. Okay. Oh, we have Lego? Great. That's fantastic. Oh, I love Connect. Yeah.
Also,
You don't have any Lego Technic here?
then you're I'm still gonna win. This is still playing. Okay, but if you're both doing Legos, then
Doesn't matter. They don't need to see what we're doing.
I don't need a microphone.
Lana will be the silent artist.
And you can still talk.
No.
It's so weird that why it's
Why I just said that, I don't know.
What?
If I get pastels on
Yeah, it's meant to be destroyed.
It's not meant to be destroyed.
Well,
Oh, man.
I mean, the pastels can be rubbed off. It's not a very, they don't bond.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome
This-
to the
Social Media Makerspace.
No, we're not. No, that's embarrassing.
Social Medium Live?
We decided to do the intro in unison, but also didn't decide what the intro would be, or who was going to say what part, or if unison meant taking turns, or everybody saying the same thing at once. So that went well.
I'm incurably embarrassed. Okay.
That's okay. We all are.
Hi.
But welcome to our Social Medium Live. I see already we have Ryan and Max, so welcome.
Woo!
Hello.
We miss you, Max.
We miss you, Max.
Thank you, Max.
We miss you too,
Well,
Ryan.
yeah,
but you're not
yeah,
usually
so-
here on Fridays, whereas Max is. Yeah. Today we have me. Hi, I'm Ben. I am the director of social media at Makerspace. And today I might work on some electronics or not, depending on how well I can multitask. Next to me is,
I'm Ilana. I'm the assistant director at Social Media, and today I will be working with pastels.
And I am DJ. I am just some guy at social media. I don't have a title.
You're a maker mentor.
Well, is that my title?
it's
We've never
very
discussed this.
confusing.
What is
At
my
the very
job
least,
title?
you're a staff member.
Staff,
Yeah.
staff.
Beloved staff.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love the staff. Great.
Dearly beloved,
Yeah,
we
kinda
are
makes it sound
gathered
like you
here
died.
today to make art.
But yeah, welcome everyone to the live stream. If you are watching us live and you want to go grab your own arts and crafts materials or electronics or whatever it is you like to make, now's a great time to do so.
Yeah, we can have a little crafternoon.
Yeah.
But we're going to get into some heavy philosophical debate this afternoon.
Pretty much. That's what social media is all about,
Or at least
is heavy philosophical debate guised as arts and crafts. But maybe we'll start with just like a recap of this week, like what we did. I think this week was very exciting. We started a few new clubs. So Monday we had Cosplay Club, which was run by Max, who's on the chat but not here. That was a lot of fun, and hopefully we'll learn more about that next week. But maybe Alana, do you want to talk a little bit about process art?
Yes,
Share
on
everybody what you
Tuesday
did.
we had Process Art Club, run by me, and we did some group and partner discussion and some creative process with pastels and watercolors, and we talked a lot about memory and things that we carry. And then Wednesday we had
Electronics Club, and I taught Spencer and Willie and our dear leader Ben how to solder. Now, we're not always going to learn something so explicitly in Electronics Club, but it was a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to people expanding their skill sets and building some cool stuff. I think next time we're going to repair Ben's robot. What's its name? Does it have a name?
It doesn't have a name. For a while, the
man.
robot was going to be vaguely Wall-E inspired.
Yeah.
So it was going to be called Crafty.
Crafty.
Yeah, I was happy with that. But then for open source, we kind of redesigned the whole thing to be better at carrying stuff,
Right.
so that we didn't need.
Do you have any
backpack?
emotional attachment to K9, the Doctor Who dog? I know that's like an older Doctor Who
I
thing.
like it. I don't
Yeah.
have like a strong when I think K9, I fast forward to Goddard.
Oh,
from
okay.
Jimmy Neutron.
I love.
Because Goddard
Goddard.
is just K9.
Okay, yeah. I have wanted to actually. I've done some research into building a animatronic Goddard. No one's done anything remotely related to it, and it's funny. Like Jimmy Neutron isn't that obscure.
no, it's not.
But
it's so good.
Goddard is. I love Goddard.
Do you know what my favorite episode of Jimmy Neutron is? When they-
Yes, actually. Is it the one where I actually can't remember the plots of any of the episodes. Sorry, go ahead.
It's when they get the book gum and they put the if you you eat the gum and then you can recite a book.
That's amazing.
It's so good,
I want that.
right? I want
Did
that
they have
too.
flavors? Like the books taste different?
That I don't remember.
that was a
but
plot
the
point.
flavors, I guess, were the book titles. So
Yeah.
I think his name was Sheen.
Yeah.
He like put like Hamlet and chewed the Hamlet
Wait,
gum.
is it Sheen or Shane? No, Sheen, not
Yeah.
Shane.
And then he like recited Hamlet, which was really funny because he's like supposed to be a dopey character.
Mm-hmm.
That was my favorite episode of Jimmy Neutron.
Ben, do you have a favorite episode of Jimmy Neutron?
I probably saw the Jimmy Neutron
Movie.
like,
Okay.
dozens of times.
Oh, when all the parents are gone?
Yeah, when all the parents are gone and the aliens come down, and then they have to like fix up all the carnival equipment to go to space. It doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, I remember that very
The
vividly.
first, I believe, there were shows that had 3D elements. I think it does have the qualifier of the first like fully 3D animated show. Fun fact. I might just be making that up, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. Because it was too expensive.
Money, money, money.
I think we have once a month we have an event called Show and Tell, where we bring in guest speakers to come talk, and then also our members share things as well. And one of the guest speakers we brought in was one of our community members, Jacob.
I forget, did he
an
work on the
Imagineer
show?
and an animator, and yeah, he worked on.
He did work on
He
Jimmy
worked
Neutron a
on,
little
I
bit.
think, a little bit of Jimmy Neutron.
Toward the tail
Wasn't
end.
like a regular, but
Yeah.
I think he worked on some episodes.
Okay.
But that's always the thing with those guest speakers, is that you never know what people are going to find interesting. So like for him, where like some people were super into the fact that he was an Imagineer, but like working on Jimmy Neutron is also super cool. And it's the same thing when we brought in Kevin Foster, who played Freddy in Five Nights at Freddy's, and like that's what he's probably best known for right now. He also had a part in the Iron Man movie, but he also
What did he do in Iron Man?
in Iron Man in that opening scene when they're in the Humvee.
Is he one of the soldiers?
He's the soldier who does the selfie in the
That's
in the Iron Man Humvee.
amazing! Oh
Right?
my god. I want to. It's funny because like that's such a small part that has really no bearing on the rest of the movie, but that's incredible.
Destiny said her favorite. Hey, Destiny.
Hi.
Destiny said her favorite Jimmy Neutron is the one where the pants could walk on their own.
Oh,
The
okay.
pants. Oh my God, what a throwback Thursday.
And then Ryan said the Jimmy Timmy crossover, which who doesn't
never
love
saw
Fairly
that
Odd
one.
Parents and the crossover, and it's weird because they're two different animation styles.
It was weird.
And so they I think they flattened Jimmy for the Timmy parts,
Right.
and 3D-ified Timmy for the Jimmy parts.
Right.
So good.
But yeah, with Kevin, right? He was also in Iron Man. The thing that like blew my mind, that like I was the most excited about with Kevin was the fact that he was a stunt double for Zachary Levi in Chuck.
Oh,
And
that's funny.
Chuck is my favorite TV show of all time. So it was something he doesn't even like mention. It's like not even in his like
Bio
or
or
anything. Because there's so many other like bigger, more famous projects he's worked on. But like that was the one that just stood out to me. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe you were on Chuck. And like Chuck was actually partly filmed in the shopping center. So where our makerspace is, yeah. So if you've been to Sprouts,
Okay.
the side entrance to Sprouts,
Uh-huh.
or kind of Five Below now, that whole side wall next to the Party City used to be the Buy More, which was like the Chuck equivalent of Best Buy. It's where Chuck worked
Oh, okay.
and all his friends. That was all filmed in that. That was all filmed in that parking lot. And then the yogurt shop or the Wiener Schnitzel thing, depending on the season, is now the Olive Garden. So it doesn't look the same at all because they added the like fake brick rocks around the outside. But yeah, it's really cool. It's one of the fun things about living in LA is you just like all these different places.
I just
pop
found
up.
out like Michael Myers, like the original Michael Myers house is like very close to where I live. And it's just, obviously it's just a house, but I want to go see it now because it's like almost walking distance. Yeah.
Treasures everywhere.
Is there any more local lore in this shopping center that you're aware of?
There are a few, but nothing that I was super excited about. But
Okay.
you can look up like there's websites where you can see, you know, all the filming locations for different movies and TV shows and whatnot. There's definitely a few things that have been filmed here. Even actually, while we were here last year, there was a crazy story of like we were doing, I think, like a staff meeting or something, and there was like this big filming crew outside.
Oh, this was during a Maker Moms session.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right,
well,
and they
there
were
was like a
filming.
couple times.
Oh.
Because they filmed for multiple days, but there's this big filming crew outside, and it's because Charlie Puth,
Yep.
who's like a singer, and he has like one song that's very popular. I don't remember what it is.
Okay.
But he was doing like a mockumentary style, like,
Okay.
I don't know. It was supposed to be like I think a show about Charlie making his next album or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it was supposed to be him like going to different things and like coming up with ideas with the public and things like that. But they filmed part of it in the School of Rock right next door.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did also like another scene that was like outside here. And just like in this walkway outside the makerspace. And the crazy thing, are we in the Welcome to the Canoga Park video? This area? Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what Keyboard Sommelier says. But we also, sorry, I lost my train of thought. But oh yeah, so with the video, they were filming outside.
Yep.
And there's this thing in filmmaking like called continuity, right? When you film, like people don't realize often that when you're filming a scene, even though it looks like it's all taking place at once, it can often be over like 4 or 5 hours that one scene's being filmed, sometimes longer, multiple days. And so you have people whose job it is to make sure that like everything's in the same place, that the lighting looks the same, that people are wearing the same clothes. And what happened is like they were filming the scene, then they took a lunch break, and during the lunch break we had a hailstorm. I don't know if people remember that a few months
my
ago,
God.
but there was this massive hailstorm, which never happens in LA. And there was like literally inches of hail outside.
Okay.
And when they were doing the original filming, it was just sunny. Like it just came out of nowhere. And so they had to like clean up all the hail to make it look like it hadn't just hailed in the lunch break, to make it look like they were all doing it in one scene. And that was just like a fun bit of movie magic to watch happen in real life.
That was really cool.
Yeah, that's my story.
Thank you for sharing.
The lore.
Yeah. What is the name? What's the? I should know. West Hills Plaza. What's the name of this?
The Fallbrook
Fallbrook
Shopping
Center?
Fallbrook Shopping Center.
Yeah.
I never read anything when I'm coming here. I just go by memory.
Yeah, it's weird. Some people call it the Fallbrook Mall. Some people call it the Fallbrook Shopping Center. I think it officially switched from the mall to the center in like the 90s or early 2000s. This whole area actually used to be an indoor mall. Yeah, so this was like covered between here. It was. I still have a hard time picturing what it looked like.
Right.
But it's a fun thing to look up if you're interested in like architecture or like how cities change over time, or I
Yeah.
don't know what genres of information it would be. But yeah, if you talk to like people who lived here in the 80s, like they used to come here and it would be an indoor shopping center, like an indoor mall.
Oh, so when did the transition happen in the 90s?
I think in the 90s.
Oh, okay.
I think like the early 90s.
Gotcha. Pre-Ben.
Pre-me, yeah.
Yeah.
At least for as long as I can remember.
Pre your consciousness.
Yeah.
Ben, what were you gonna make electrically? What are you gonna electrically make happen?
I'm not sure. I just took this stuff out to have something to fidget with.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to kind of mess with that because you brought in this awesome light, and I haven't had a chance.
Oh,
to try it
yeah,
before.
the noodles. We've
Yeah,
got.
the
You should
noodles.
show that off on stream for the people who haven't
Yeah.
seen it because it's very cool.
I will do some noodles.
So if we can see overhead, it doesn't look all that special, but what appears to be a wet piece of spaghetti is actually a continuous strip of very tiny LED lights. And actually, we can just use this guy right here. But this will glow. If I'll have to maybe I'll get the polarity right the first time. Boop. So
Whoa.
it appears neon, and it's a really, I mean, like it's a little blown out on camera, but in person it's still very satisfying.
So bright.
But more importantly, like this is so flexible. Like I can literally tie like a knot out of the noodle, and it would still actually
Noodle.
it'll still work. Yeah, got to make some tiny neon signs.
That would be really fun. What would your
yes.
tiny neon sign say?
Ooh, I don't know. I do want my own little mini Beetlejuice diorama, so probably,
That'd be fun.
yeah.
What would your tiny neon
yeah,
sign
so-
Also, Destiny was wondering what kind of pastels you're using.
well, they're oil pastels. And can I say the brand?
Sure, I don't know. We're not.
Oh, we're not sponsored by them,
Hashtag
so.
not sponsored
Hashtag
by
not
anyone.
sponsored.
If anybody wants to sponsor us, feel free.
These are oil pastels. Hashtag not sponsored. Here's the. Oh no, I did it wrong. There we go. Sorry, I'm new at this. Expressionist.
Only the best.
Free
That's social media.
paws. I enjoy them. So those are the things I am making. I don't really have a goal right now with this. I'm just sort of doing what feels good. But Ben, what would your tiny neon sign say if you made a tiny
Well,
neon
we
sign?
have one in the space. It's not really tiny and it's not really neon. But
So then what would your
if
tiny
we were
neon
making
sign
a fake
say?
neon LED, I have our logo up there and I kind of love that. But I'm not very creative, so like logo is the best I could come up with. I think, what else is good?
I would make one that says like, leave by 9, or like, wash your hands. Just like
This
friendly.
is the best day of my life.
This is the best day of my life. Like just friendly reminders.
I think something that would be fun, it's not really neon sign, but doing something where we had a sign that changed depending on parameters. So like I think it would be fun to have one where it's like maybe a sign by your front door that changes color depending on the weather. Or like I think it was actually Mark Zuckerberg who is where I first saw this. He did like a fun Arduino thing, which was just a weird, because but
He doesn't have fun.
well, it's just like it's not like it was like he runs Facebook, so
Right, he doesn't have time for that.
But I guess at some point he was having some fun with Arduinos, and he made this thing where it was like a cube that was a light. So it's kind of like an alarm clock, but instead of having the exact time, the whole thing would just light up different colors depending on
The time of day.
like the time of night. So the idea was that just like if you wake up at 4 a.m. and you look over to your nightstand and you see that the cube is glowing red, then it's like, okay, you
time
can
to
go
get
back
up.
to sleep.
Oh,
But
okay.
if the cube is glowing yellow, then it's probably like not enough time for you to go back to sleep and get like good sleep. So you might as well wake up. And then if it's green, it's like wake up.
Wake up.
And
I
I
kinda like
idea,
that,
especially
yeah.
for like kids.
That already exists for kids. I don't know if it's based on his technology, but it's called
Yeah.
an okay to wake clock.
Oh my god.
And so like the clock is red all night, and then it turns yellow when it's like okay for the kid to get out of bed, and then it's green when it's okay for the kid to like leave their bedroom, wake up their parents, etc. It's definitely used with children already.
So Zuck is not creative and didn't come up with this idea, and he stole
Or,
it just
I don't
like he
know.
stole the idea of Facebook from the Winklevoss
Allegedly,
twins.
allegedly.
Definitely, I saw it in a movie.
you wanna get sued?
I saw it in a movie, and but it's okay because he stole it because he stole it from Armie Hammer, who's a confirmed cannibal.
Ew.
I don't think the Winklevosses are confirmed cannibals.
The Winklevi.
The Winklevi twins.
We're gonna get sued. We have to stop talking about other people.
I like to live dangerously.
I do
and
not like to live
Is
dangerously.
there? We need to put like a little bottom third or whatever that says all views are.
Expressed in this video are
Expressed or
purely
belong
host
to-
opinions.
Our official
Yeah.
opinions of social medium and is the name of the actual LLC that's public, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah, the Shop Class LLC.
It's it's a fun thing. So our official name, if you ever like trying to send us like a Google Doc or something, you might have run into this problem. Our official name is actually the Shop Class, and that comes from back in the day. Because
Back
people
in
ask
the
me
day.
how I started social media all the time. Back in the day, when I was working full time doing other stuff, I also on the side was doing some like private lessons and for like woodworking, things like that. I would do like some custom design work or fabrication stuff when people wanted like furniture or props for small movie things, that kind of stuff. And then I also had a YouTube channel, and that was all called the Shop Class. And so, so I liked the Shop Class. I thought it was a cool name. It took me a long time to come up with it. The original goal when I started doing that 8 years ago was to someday open up a makerspace and call it the Shop Class. That's why it was my YouTube channel name. And then what happened was that Disney Channel put out
Right.
a
You're throwing
TV
so
show
many people under the bus
called
today.
the Shop Class, or called Shop Class or something like that. That was like a competition show where people would like make things from the junkyard or whatever. And it was fun.
But they stole your idea.
But
stole the
it
branding.
only lasted like one season, I think. But it was enough that like their SEO was way more than mine. So like it used to be that if you looked up the Shop Class, there was like one company in China that was like a Temu style thing that was like shopping, and so that would show up. But other than that, I would be like one of the first three. After the Disney thing came out, it was just like it pushed me way to the bottom. It was impossible to find me anymore on YouTube or on Google.
Don't push me because I'm too close.
So that was part of the reason why we changed our name when we became Social Medium.
Is that our villain origin story?
Yep.
I don't know about villain, but I guess it's part of the origin story, yeah.
Are you too afraid to be a villain?
Yeah.
Ben's a good guy
Yeah.
at heart and
It is.
outwardly as well.
Yeah. But yeah, that's part of our lore.
What's going on in chat? Who's still with us?
Destiny says the pastels seem really buttery.
They're so buttery.
They live here, Destiny. If you want to try them out next time you're here.
They're in the box labeled process art.
Yeah.
I
We
didn't come to
did-
Process Art Club.
You should come to Process
You
Art
should
Club.
come
You
to
should
Process Art
all
Club.
come to Process Art
So
Club.
we actually never got to that. Can you tell us more about what Process Art Club was, what you did? No. Okay.
Nerd
Oh, no.
Yeah, Process Art Club is designed to be a space for our members to come and make art that is less focused on the product and more on the process of making. It's meant to be therapeutic, but it is not therapy. It is definitely a space where we talk about like bigger ideas, feelings, questions, wonderings, just a chance to like have deeper conversations in a creative context. Those are all the words I have about that. Come to Process Art Club, it'll be fun.
It will be fun. And
like-
Alana's a lovely person, and
Thank
you will feel
you.
better.
Yeah.
You will feel better.
Yeah.
I like to describe
That's
it
not a
as-
guarantee, though. You might feel the same. You might feel worse, but probably not.
But probably.
I like to describe it as like process your art, process your thoughts and feelings through art. Because the process art is both about like the process of the art, but also about you processing things.
It's true.
So, this week we had some fun. We did some art using. There were a few different options. I did pastel. It was my first time using pastel since
What'd you
elementary school.
think?
I like it. I like it a lot, especially with the process art stuff because I tend to be a little bit more rigid in my. I wouldn't even call it art, but like when I design things, I tend to use like 3D modeling software and things like that to design things because I like to be able to say, I want this circle to be 1/3 the diameter of that circle and them to be evenly spaced between these two lines.
Or
and
the same way.
Yeah.
It needs to be
Except
perfect.
for that, you can also draw things like that, and I cannot. So I'm always stuck on CAD. But the nice thing with the pastels is it lends yourself to being able to be more, I guess, amorphous, like less rigid.
Like what Alana's doing right now would be so hard for me to
Why?
get to. It's just my mind doesn't flow as freely.
What's going on in your mind when you're
it's
making
less
things?
it's less that there's so much structure, but I feel like you're able to move, act creatively, physically, in a way that like you're,
Like, is it a fear thing? Like,
No,
what if
it's
bad?
just it's almost like it's like trying to describe a color you've never seen before.
Interesting.
I don't know what I don't know, and I don't even know how to express in that way that you do. Every time I see you, you're making a new art piece that is so expressive and different. Like it's never the same thing. It's never, not even the same medium usually, which is, yeah.
I mean, I feel like I would feel similarly if I looked at the electronic things that you or Ben makes. Like I'd be like, I could never do that, but that's definitely more about confidence than skill. And I sometimes wonder if that's the case for abstract art for folks, that they just don't know how to reach that place of letting go, rather than it being like they don't have the capacity. Because I think everyone is inherently creative, and we have blocks within us that keep us from exploring our creativity in various capacities, mostly because we worry we'll fail or we'll worry that it won't be good, and then
But you know how to overcome those blocks.
Yeah.
Like
With some
that's
things.
that's a hard skill to acquire.
Yes.
And
Well, I also there's plenty of people who have experienced really bad situations where they were told they aren't creative, or that art's for girls, or
right.
if you can't draw a rose perfectly, then you shouldn't draw at all. We also live in a society that favors if you're gonna do this, you need to make money off of it, and if you can't make money off of it, then you shouldn't do it, or you're not good enough. Whereas I don't know, would you ever look at someone riding a bike and be like, oh, there's a failed cyclist?
Right. It's
Like,
fun.
you'd be
It's
like,
funny
no, there's
the
a bike ride.
qualifications we put on certain activities.
Yeah.
They're just as valid as anything else.
I think that's one of the things about Etsy. We were just talking about Etsy the other day, and I think Etsy and also YouTube and there's so many more outlets now for being able to monetize things that I feel 20 years ago, or even 10 years ago, it was if you did something, you just did it for yourself. That was totally normal.
Right.
And now, the first thing people say when they see that you do art or they see you do anything is oh my God, are you on Etsy? Are you on Instagram? Are you on
How are
YouTube?
you profiting off
Yeah.
of this?
And we've kind of built this culture around having to
Everything's a commodity.
it's only valuable if you're selling it.
Yeah,
Right.
qualify it.
Yeah.
And then the worst part is that with things like Etsy, is that it starts out as a great way for people who do want to profit off of it, or people who are able to do it to make some money, which is awesome if you can. But a lot of them end up being like overrun with larger companies that are taking
Right.
away the original intent. Like the original intent of Etsy was for people, like Etsy was started by a woman who had a little laser cutter or a Cricut maybe, and she used to make cupcake toppings, like cupcake decorations for birthday parties and stuff. And she did like her son's birthday or a family friend's birthday, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, that's so amazing! Can you do mine? Can you do mine?" And she was like, "It would be great if there was a place where people like me can put their stuff out there and reach more people." And she, created Etsy to do that. But now you get very few people who are still just like a person with a 3D printer or a laser cutter or drawing skills, and you get these like big companies that are just reselling things
Yeah.
off Temu.
Yeah. Because the low-hanging fruit, like, not that people were trying to make low-hanging fruit, but anything that was easy and simple to make using just a laser cutter or one other tool immediately is drowned out by corporations and factories, which defeats the whole point of the idea, which is very disheartening. And it's a hard... Etsy could solve this, but Etsy makes more money by not solving it, which is why they don't. They
Yeah.
could philosophically decide
Or like
you
put-
must be a business of no more than 5 people or something.
Or even just put a cap on like you can only make $40,000 a year, or $10,000
Or
a
X
year.
amount of units. Like
Or
you can only
X
say
amount of
10 of
units,
something,
yeah.
because that immediately would probably shut out a lot of mass manufacturers.
But yeah, it's a hard problem to solve though, and it's like also sometimes, right, let's say you start as a small manufacturer, let's say you start with just making, laser cut phone stands and you're only selling
Right.
one or two,
Right.
and you get really popular and now people want to buy thousands. If you started on Etsy, can you continue to do Etsy, or is it like if we're saying that it's only for small businesses or for like the Olympics for amateurs,
Right.
Like, do you have to, or hobbyists, like, do you have to like recuse yourself? Do you have to
Graduate from it.
graduate from Etsy and leave if you become popular enough? Like, at what point do you become that big business?
But that's, why would someone do that? Because it's like, oh, hey, now you're making real money. Stop.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the only people who have the luxury of doing that, people who are already financially successful in some other way.
That's true too. It takes a lot of prep to be able to make those things, and like to have the capacity to be able to afford having losses,
Right.
or to make enough things that you have to be able to take off work or take days off to make enough things to become popular, because that's
Right.
also about like the popularity algorithms, right? It's like
Yeah.
unless you can sell a certain amount of bulk, you're not going to show up in people's search history. So even if you did only want to sell a couple a year or a couple a month, you're not going to show up in anybody's searches if that's all you're selling, because then you're not creating enough profit for those companies. Same with YouTube. Like, you can't get. We were talking about this the other day. Of like, it's very rare for anything with less than like 50,000 subscribers to show up on my YouTube
Yeah.
feed.
And I've a couple times I've asked people, can you recommend what is your favorite like DIY/STEM channel under 100,000 subscribers? Didn't get a lot of replies. It's hard. It's very hard to find those people.
Are you one of those people, or are you more than that?
I have more than that.
Sorry, I don't know how famous you are.
No, that's fine. That doesn't matter. But it's funny that like asking people, it's like, okay, I know these people watch, because I literally get to see what other channels people watch explicitly and what videos they watch right after mine. So I'm like, oh, I know you are interested in this topic.
Weird.
I know if I have a single viewer in like Tuvalu or like any like the most obscure little random spots in the world, and
That's a lot of information to have.
it's a lot of
Do
information.
you want to know all of that?
No, well, it's interesting. I don't need to know all that. I like knowing that there's like 40 people from Lithuania who are like, or it's like, because it's weird, because it's like, for some reason, one video will be more popular. Like, not that it matters, it's like this video really connected with Estonians versus like people in
So
Morocco. But like this, because it's such a weird global thing, like it's just numbers on a screen, but these are all real people in the real world. What was the
Like, is
topic?
it stressful to know that information?
No, because by and large, it's still just the
Just data.
You know, it's just data. But getting back to it of what people watch, even polling a lot of people, it didn't get a lot of unique answers. It was always things that I'd already found. So
I think that's one of the things I liked with Jay Laser.
yeah,
I don't know if he still does it, but in his earlier videos, he always started his videos with like, here's all the stuff you guys sent me of what you made at home. And it would be a lot of these small YouTube channels, or like, you know, people who were doing things mostly just for fun, but also putting it online to show other people.
mm-hmm.
And there was also like another YouTuber who did, who used to have like a Maker Mondays where he would just like review different channels and show off
Who was that?
things. That was him, Bob Clagett, and Jimmy DeResta have a
Was it Jackman?
No, it was. I will find him.
Okay.
I don't know who any of these people are. Just in case anyone watching is also confused, I'm with you. You're not
If
alone.
anybody who's watching has a YouTube channel with under 100,000 subscribers that they think people should check out, put it in the comments.
Yeah.
What their it's called. David Picciuto.
Never heard of him.
I used to watch. So now I watch mostly like a lot of engineering stuff.
Yeah.
But I used to watch a lot of woodworking stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like a big woodworking guy. And one of the things that made him really popular is that he would show these other woodworking channels. And so that was a great one. But it's also weird, like when you go through YouTube, how kind of segmented things are.
Right.
Because like when I was watching woodworking stuff, I would only get more videos about woodworking.
Right.
When I started switching over to more engineering stuff, now I don't get any woodworking things suggested to me anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just all engineering and now a little bit of Wicked. But
Yeah, I have a young child at home, and we watch like these construction videos that are it's made by a family. It's actually, you could know it. It's called Kid Crew. It's great. Look it up. But it's a family that like makes child-sized construction vehicles and like uses them in real work. It's very
That's
cool.
amazing.
It's very cool. You would actually you would appreciate it.
What's it called again?
Kid Crew. It's
Kid Crew.
amazing. They made a cement mixer for a child to use.
I want a cement
It's
mixer.
really good. But anyways, we watch these videos religiously, and so then now all my targeted ads are like for like big trucks, and it's like the
Right.
bow, bow. Are you building a fence? Use our tools to build your big fence. And there's nothing about me that wants to build a fence.
This is every like 6-year-old's
amazing.
dream, and this
It's
is
real
every one's dream as well, because
This kid has operated real construction vehicles now, like so many of them.
But their parents must be
His
actual
parents-
engineers, because this is not hard to make this. This is very hard to make this
Yeah.
equipment.
The assumption, we don't know, these parents are brilliant, and they have kept the privacy of their family and child very well. And it is assumed the dad is probably an engineer because he has modified all these small cars.
Yeah.
But it's incredible.
Non-trivial.
I went to IAPA last year, which just happened again last month. But IAPA is a conference convention for people who work in the theme park industry. It's a convention for people who work in the theme park industry, but they also have like, it's theme parks, but also hotels and museums and anything that's themed entertainment, immersive entertainment. And so one of the exhibits was like kid construction equipment, but it wasn't like the little janky ones you see at the park. It was like full on electronic, like cranes and bulldozers and things like that for museums for kids to play in, and we played with it, and it was so much fun. Also, on the subject of smaller YouTube channels, one that I would like to shout out to the thousands of people watching right now is Sailing Ramona.
Oh yeah.
They're super awesome. For anybody who likes just such a wide range of YouTube videos, I love like sailing, like boat channels,
Boat talk.
because the
Let's
cool
just talk
thing,
about boat. But next live stream, we're talking about boats.
Yeah,
I know you can talk
I
about
can
boats.
do that all day.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about sailing channels, if you've never seen a sailing channel, whether it's Sailing Ramona, who's the best one, I also love Sail Life. There's Odd Life Crafting. I mean, there's hundreds, thousands. But the cool thing about sailing channels is that you get like the outdoor adventure stuff, you get travel vlogs, you get people's personal life stuff, but you also get like engineering and art because they're fixing up these boats or maintaining these boats. And so like I've learned a lot about like electrical systems and structural engineering and all these different things from these boat channels. Ramona is one of those things where, again, because of the algorithm, I followed a lot of sailing channels. They probably would have never come across my stream because they only had a couple thousand viewers. But when my wife and I were going to Japan for our honeymoon, we wanted to look up, we were watching all these like touring Japan or like Japan
Must sees. Or
yeah,
something.
like 10 things you must see, or like the 10 mistakes all tourists make in Japan, things like that. And we got kind of tired of those things, so we said like, I wonder what it looks like to like sail around Japan. Like, what does it look like from that perspective? And so we looked up Sailing Japan, and we found them, and they are a couple, Tyler and Julia, who live in Japan, and in their first video they said how their goal was to buy a boat in Japan and then sail from Japan to LA, like to
Oh my God.
to the U.S. And just because of how globes work, I was very excited because most sailing channels are on the East Coast because it's a lot easier to sail to like Europe, to the Bahamas, there's like a lot more interesting stuff on the East Coast for
Okay.
boats. The West Coast tends not to have as much. Because much harder to get places. And the Pacific Ocean is also way bigger than the Atlantic Ocean. People
Right.
don't think about it, but like it's like 3 times bigger.
Yeah.
And so I was excited that they were in Japan because it meant they would probably be sailing to California. So we subscribed. Then in their second video, they talked about how they couldn't find any boats in Japan. There's a lot of weird laws in Japan about how many boats can be bought and sold in a year, and you have to get special permits because they don't want like overcrowding and things like that. It's also true in Hawaii. My cousin is a captain in
Yeah.
Hawaii, and getting a boat in Hawaii is almost impossible.
Because they cap the number of.
They cap the number of boats that can be sold or
Right.
exist
I guess
in
all
that
the
island, and
marinas and harbors and whatever would be overloaded.
Honestly, don't hate that.
it's a good thing,
Yeah.
but it makes it hard if you're trying to do that. So what they ended up doing is they decided to come to the U.S.
Yeah.
and buy a boat here, fix it up, and then sail it back to Japan. And so they came to the U.S., and so I was really excited because I'm like, they must be coming to California. 'Cause
Right.
That's the best place to sail to
Sure.
Japan from. And then I told them, I tried, so I reached out to them. I'm like, hey, if you're going to be in California, I don't know what area you're in,
Yeah.
but like, we'd be happy to help because if you're flying from Japan, I assume you're not flying with a bunch of power tools.
Right.
I have power tools. Let me know if you want some help.
Yeah.
And they reached back out, and they ended up not being that far. They were about an hour away where they were fixing up their boat. And so my wife Jordan and I ended up, we like just went and hung out and went to dinner and talked a bit, but they were so sweet, and we ended up going and helping them with their boat. We just became really good friends, and then when we went on our honeymoon, we stayed with them for a week. Or at
That's
least
so
with Tyler.
cool.
Yeah, so that's like one of those weird things where people often talk about like para relationships and
Right.
like the idea that the viewers of YouTube channels and stuff feel like they know somebody but don't actually know somebody. This was a really cool, rare instance where
Now you do.
we started as a para relationship where we're like, we feel like we know everything about you because we saw your documentary.
Right.
But now we're actually friends, and we text and we call and we do video chats. And they came here and helped design and build Social Medium when we were first opening up. They've hung a lot of this.
Where are they now?
Now they're back in Japan, so they
Just-
fixed up their
okay,
boat.
yeah.
They sailed back to Japan, and they're doing awesome stuff there. They said that they should have new videos coming soon. They took a little hiatus, but yeah, so they're awesome. But the cool thing again about a boat is like helping them fix their boat is you have painting, you have woodworking, you have engineering, you have electrical, mechanical. Just anything you could possibly want to do as a maker, you can get on a boat. Even we have some 3D printed parts on that boat and some like Sen like aluminum extrusion
Yeah,
stuff.
I do want to work on a big vehicle or craft of some kind, very much. There's so many opportunities for building really interesting things, whether it's a car, like land, sea, or air. I just,
Watch the Kid Crew videos. It might inspire you.
Oh, it definitely. Yeah, I found it. I didn't immediately. Well, actually, I should subscribe, or else Although no, this is the hard thing. I don't want to subscribe because then it's going to recommend like kids content to me. I specifically just want this channel.
That's a whole nother thing, right? It's like trying to game the algorithm. Like I am so afraid to dislike anything because
And
Instagram and Facebook purposely serve you things in the channels you disliked because with like the way dopamine hits work is that if you only ever got stuff you liked, you'd become like immune to it. And so what they do is every once in a while, and you'll start to notice this once you know about it, is every once in a while they'll just send you something that you like absolutely do not like, because that keeps the excitement, like kind of that gambling feeling of as you scroll, you don't know what's going to happen next, and you're hoping for something good, but it might be something bad. And so
man,
like,
they must have hired like a team
really
of
sad.
behavioral
So many.
psychologists to figure out. It's like, okay, we need people to spend 3% more time.
it's
I hate it.
so scary. And like you said, with being able to see that much data, right? Like for every piece of data you're able to see, they can see 5 times as much. It's.
I mean, yeah, that's true. There's only so many more levels. Like, I'd be very, not that I have this opportunity, but like I said, like I really could make something and like what actually does capture the Estonian audience. Like they like videos that talk about, I don't know, trucks or something more than anyone else. So that would be a fun experiment to see if I really could game like a small audience where it's more noticeable, because like if it's like America or England or something, you couldn't tell. That'd be fun.
I'm excited for it. That's like one of the benchmarks for growing a social media channel. Whether it's YouTube or Instagram, is like the first benchmark is just like hitting 100 is like a great feeling. Then the next benchmark for me is like getting to the point where you are allowed to see statistics. Like I think on Instagram it's like 1,000 people. Like you need to have 1,000 followers before you can see any statistics about who your followers are.
Interesting.
And on YouTube, I don't even know if we've hit the statistic. We've gotten some, but I remember like the first time where it like unlocked the ability to see, because before you just don't have enough data to have a percentage mean anything.
Which is so funny because the data exists. So I really wonder what it is. I guess it's just another incentive to be successful. Yeah, because I don't know. It's a bit of a catch-22. You have less data to work with, so you don't know what works for your audience, and therefore you're not as successful. And then once you have it, then you needed that data before.
Yeah, but I also think that like with statistics, it's a weird thing. Like it's something we deal with at Social Medium because we have a great group of members.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do. But
We love you, members.
if we have 50 members, right? Like even if all the members really want one thing, or like all the members are like, we just need more electronic stuff.
Right.
We need
But,
them.
like-
we need all of them. DJ, more electronics.
Oh, God, we have so
If
many.
We get 10 people who aren't
I shouted.
members that say, oh, let's do more cosplay.
Yeah,
Like,
Max, more cosplay.
That's- If those people join, it's now basically like 18%, right? So it's like when you have such small numbers, every person counts for so much.
Right.
And that's why we have like a lot of conversations with our members.
It's a good metaphor for life.
Yeah. It is life.
This is real life,
Yeah.
or is this just fantasy?
Are we human? Or are we dancers?
Oh no!
Are we human?
That was quite the jump in.
Yeah.
People.
How dare you do a medley
Sorry.
and not continue the Bohemian?
Cool. Alana, you want to show off?
Yeah, I
It's-
feel I'm coming to a stopping place for now. Here's the final, I'm not going to get this right. This final, or not final product, but the stopping place for now.
Nope, it's done.
I don't know yet what the orientation will be, but I'm pleased
I
with it.
can't imagine making something where I don't know what the orientation's gonna be.
Yeah.
Like,
See, even that concept is so alien to me.
I don't know. It's just doing it. Less thinking, more
Ilana
doing.
just has portals to other dimensions in her eyes.
This is a portal.
Exactly, and you're sharing it with us in this world that we cannot see. Ben and I cannot see what you see.
Understand.
Yeah. So thank you for giving us a
Thank you
glimpse.
for witnessing.
before we go, Destiny said more 3D printers. I want to shout out Destiny. Destiny is one of our awesome members.
Yeah,
who
Destiny. Woo.
Came in for a 3D printing class, and then since then has really just gone above and beyond in learning 3D printing. It's one of the reasons why we've switched from doing classes to clubs, because Destiny is a perfect example of how you just need to start with like the very basics, and once you know where to look, she's learned more on her own than I could have taught her, and she learned how to 3D model in Nomad. So now she's making her own designs and then 3D printing them,
That's
which
awesome.
I very rarely even do. She's been doing like different colors and groupings, and she's made just all sorts of cool 3D printed projects around the space.
Destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Medusa head is so cool.
Yeah, she made the Medusa head, which wasn't 3D printed, but it's very cool.
Come to social media to see the Medusa head.
She made a little
If you
guy
know, you
for her
know.
desk, like a little clown. Or she had a little clown doll, but she made a tiny desk and computer and workstation for it. So now it sits on her desk with like a replica of her desk on it. And it has like a little keyboard and mouse and everything, and a little chair. So that's fun. DJ, do you want to
Oh, sure. Yeah, I spent this time illustrating some sort of fantasy. The orientation. Some sort of fantasy axe for one of my members in D&D. They just received this axe, so they get a personal illustration, which I'll rarely do.
By you?
By me.
Oh
And
my
I gotta
God.
add the stats for it. So
Stats.
the axe stats.
This is why at Tabletop Game Club on Thursdays we play Fate Core, which doesn't have stats for weapons.
But it's so much cooler to have very specific stats.
Ugh, I can't.
Do you want to show off anything?
What's that? What's that? There's a thing right there.
This-
Producer.
this
No, there's
now.
a.
This was the thing I made in. Destiny says thanks, y'all. This was the thing I made in Process Art Club. So, yeah, poop. Hey,
You can't say poop on the internet.
Yeah.
I think you can. If you want to learn more about it, come to Process Art, and you'll get a better understanding of why I made this. But it's a good example of, like, again, Alana makes these very abstract things. This is the closest I could come to abstract. Like, I could do metaphor.
Yeah.
I can handle metaphor, where, like, there's still organization here, but I made it messy. I can't do pure, just abstract. That bothers me.
Come
Even
to
when I do
Process
stuff like
Art.
this, it turns into patterns.
You gotta loosen up.
Yeah.
We'll unlock it. We'll unlock
Or
that.
do I? I don't know. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with being that way. I don't know if I need to change.
I'm okay with being that way.
Beautiful. That is our new official.
Stop singing
song.
licensed song, unlicensed music
Is that a real song?
I want it that way.
Oh, nice.
by the.
Okay, well, you
Backstreet
guys
Boys.
talked crap about Mark Zuckerberg, so we're already screwed. Thank
Yeah.
you for joining us today at the Social Medium Live Show. We hope to see you next week with another video that we will perhaps be talking about boats.
Boat talk. This is
Boat
going to
talk.
be sailor
Talk
It's fun
focused.
because I'm
Talk
the only
boating to
one
me.
who knows that, like, who cares about boats. But I won't be on the live stream then. Just
What?
have-
No, you have
I
to
think
be
it
on
would
the
be fun
live
to
stream.
just have you, Alana, and Max
Oh no!
here, but you can only talk about boats.
And you're just giving us notes. You're like, that's not what that's called. Port and starboard are completely different things.
Yeah, if there's stuff you want us to talk about, or projects you want us to do, or if a member would like to come be on the stream with us and
Join us
and share
next
your
time,
things,
literally.
yeah, come join us, and we will see you next week, every Friday at 1 o'clock. And until then, goodbye and thank you.
Bye.
Woo!
Farewell.